Hey there everyone, welcome to Violet's Dream Tarot. So today we're going to be doing a pick a card reading about what is coming up for you in December. So what you can expect, if there's maybe any particular area of your life that's going to be a big focus area in December, what's coming towards you, what the energies are like, so that you can see what you need to look forward to and also what you need to be prepared for in the month ahead. So like I said, this is a pick a card reading. We've got two piles today. There's actually quite a lot of cards in here. It doesn't maybe look like that much from the overhead view, but we've got a lot to get through, and we've got the charms and dice as we always do in my readings as well. So before we get into the reading, I want to say a big thank you to all of my lovely subscribers. Thank you so much for being here and supporting the work that I do, and also to all of my lovely patrons as well, like Alexandra, Amy, Alyssa, Alison, Mia, Cara, Kelly and Natalie. Thank you so much to all of you for your support. If you want to become a patron, just head over to the description box where I've got a link to my Patreon page. I do a variety of things over there. You can get monthly readings, you can get an entry into a prize draw to win a free reading each month. I do astrology insights on the Patreon page where I teach astrology, but I also do personalized astrology insights to patrons' inboxes depending on what tier they are in, and I just do ad hoc posts about spiritual topics and sometimes my life in general as well. So if that interests you, definitely go ahead and check it out. You'll be very welcome. So like I said, today we've got a pick a card. We've got two piles, and those of you who have had a private reading with me over the past couple of days will recognize these two little figures that I've had decorating my desk recently, and I do have a few more, so if people like them I could put them on the desk just near the gnomes as an extra decoration for sort of winter Yuletide season. But pile one, if we take a closer look, we have this sweet little reindeer girl. Her name is Ruthie. And on pile two we have Teresa, the little Christmas tree girl. So they've been accompanying my lovely little gnomes in the background just over the past couple of days since we moved into December. And yeah, definitely I'll add some more if people like them, but those are our pile markers for today. So scroll back through the reading if you want to see the close-up of each of them again, if you still haven't been able to make your choice. Otherwise you can pause the reading if you need more time, but just go with your intuitive choice. Don't agonize over it or take too long. Go with where your intuition is telling you. Doesn't necessarily mean it's the one that you prefer or the one that you find the cutest, but just the one that you are drawn to instantly. You have different ways of picking. I'm sure everyone's got a very different approach, but go with your gut feeling on this. And when you have chosen, I will get started with pile number one. Hey there, group one, welcome to your reading. If you chose the lovely Ruthie reindeer as your lovely little girl here today, I'm going to put her there, and we'll take a look at all of these cards. Like I said, they've been pre-shuffled. Let's move her out of the way actually, so that we can look through them all at speed, and we'll move on to your charms and dice once we've discussed what all of the cards mean. So from your tarot today, we're using the Fairy Tarot, and your first card is Queen of Winter, which is the Queen of Swords. It says strong, patient, self-sufficient, funny. Let go of people or things that no longer serve you. Now is the time to focus on your career. Unmarried or divorced individuals. And I can instantly see that that's not focusing. Okay, apologies. I just tried to fiddle around with the camera to see if I could get it to focus so you could see the beautiful cards up close. So that's your Queen of Winter, Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy. Let's move on to the next one. High Priestess. Trusting your intuition, careful reflection before taking action, insights that come through meditation. Interesting. The World. A brilliant success, the freedom to go in any direction, a journey that is now complete. Hunter. Aggressor, tracker, provider. Number 32. Yule, rebirth. Interesting that you've got the Yule card when we are literally talking about your December reading. Also this very snow-filled wintry card here. Angelic Ones, number 9, divine healing is upon you, divine grace and divine guidance. Number 53, der Götze der Schuld, the idol of guilt or blame. It's the same word in German, Schuld. Venskaber med dyr, kæmper for alle dyr. So this is friendships with animals, fight for all animals, from my lovely Danish deck there. Then you have Mushina, man. And you got 2 cards from this deck, Ochi dom, father's house, childhood home. Number 21, key to intimacy. Intimate love is a core need to be met in relation to ourselves and those closest to us. The journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not. Now that's an interesting message. Responding, not reacting. Number 9, the only control we have is in how we respond to the hand we are dealt. Then you have bear, danger, especially in money matters. Coins, money will be coming to you. Interesting double money message there. Dark man, dealings or relationship with a man with dark complexion or hair. Now that's curious because you've got the man card, Mushina. And then this final card, deine Zeit im Schneckenhaus ist vorbei. Die Seele verlangt wieder zu fliegen. Now that's a really cute little card, a little fairy or earth elemental hiding in this snail shell, and it means your time in the snail house or the snail shell is over. Your soul requires or demands to fly again. So it feels like it's time to get moving again, but this is a really interesting message. Group 1, I'm just going to take a look at your cards in more detail and just see what's coming to me in terms of insights here. So I definitely get the feeling that you're pushing forward with something in December. Obviously for a lot of people, December is like a slowing down time. But for you, like especially with this card, you know, hunter, aggressor, tracker, provider, it's like you're really pushing forward with something. And obviously the Queen of Swords as well as someone who is very career focused, very goal focused. She does things that might be difficult in the moment because she knows that there's going to be long-term gain from this. And you've got these messages about money. So I do think you're pushing forward with something to do with work or career. Maybe you're applying for a new job in December, or maybe you're sort of midway through an application and you need to sit various rounds that involve being taken over the December period. So maybe that means you've got to say no to some social plans, for example, or some social events. And that's possibly where the guilt or the blame is coming from here. You feel bad about saying no to family events because you're putting your work first. Now is the time to focus on your career. Yeah, it's interesting. It's like you know that it's important that you get this done work-wise, but it still gives you that feeling of, you know, am I doing the right thing? There's still a little bit of guilt there. I do see you spending time with family because we've got the childhood home or the father's house, so it does seem that you're going back to your hometown or you're going to stay with relatives, which I'm sure a lot of you will be doing in December. That's definitely on the cards. Maybe it's not so much that you're looking for a new job for some of you, but just that you've got to work over the holiday period and that's leading you to feel guilty. You know, people are maybe expecting you to have taken time off or to have been given time off by your workplace, and actually that's not how it works for you depending on where you work, and so you've got to continue to work over the holidays, and so you feel like a bad person or people are making you feel that way. It feels like you're having to hold your own a little bit in December. I feel like, at least from your perspective, you feel quite solitary for some of the time. So you might be surrounded by people, but feel like you're the only person who can really advocate for yourself. Because I strongly get that feeling from the Queen of Winter, but also from the High Priestess as well. And then also this card about guilt. And key to intimacy as well. I think you'll be questioning some relationships or the nature of some relationships over this month, because, you know, it's saying the journey to intimacy often includes learning what love is not. And I think you're thinking, well, these people say that they want to spend time with me and they say that they care, but if they're making me feel so bad, even when I've given, you know, my clear reasons as to why I can't do this, then am I the bad person, or are they? Or do they really actually care about me, or do they just want me to do what they want me to do, you know? Because if they truly loved and cared about me, they'd want me to do what was right for me. So there's an interesting thought process going on there. And I think that's reflected in the High Priestess as well, in terms of lots of reflection and time to think. However, there are some really positive aspects as well. So while I feel like you're going to have to be careful weighing up how you respond to people, because this card is telling us it's important that we don't just react emotionally, we don't just have that knee-jerk reaction and let that speak for us. I do think there's also going to be some happy time spent with loved ones and with family members. I'm wondering if for some of you, it's a situation as well where maybe you are applying for another job, but you've got to keep it secret from people at work. Because I get this strong sort of like under wraps feeling from some of these things. Like the High Priestess is very silent. You know, we've got this message about intimacy. We've got the snail shell sort of hiding away feeling. So I'm wondering if some of you are having to keep things quiet and you don't really like that. You know, you don't like to be secretive, and you're aware that you're maybe going to have to juggle some things around in your work calendar that might raise some question marks in people's eyes over what you're doing. And so you're having to think about, how will I explain this whilst also feeling kind of bad, guilty for pursuing something better. So it's a real sort of mishmash of feelings. But ultimately, I do think that you're making the right choice, whatever it is that you're deciding to do that's for yourself. I think it's natural that people might question why you're doing that instead of socializing with them. But ultimately, if they can't see the bigger picture for you and the richness that that's going to bring to you, then maybe they're not really looking at it from your perspective, and they're just looking at things from their own perspective, like we've mentioned. So other messages that are coming through here include this friendship with animals, Venskab med dyr card. So I'm not really sure where that is fitting into the rest of the reading. The only thing I can think of in general is if that's maybe your line of work is something to do with animals, or if for some of you, you are going to your family home and therefore seeing your family pet, because there's a little dog, or quite a big dog actually, in the background with this girl. So it could be that you're getting to see family pets when you don't have one yourself, and it's lovely to be reunited with your animals. There's also this message of money coming to you, but danger especially in money matters. So I think this again is where I was picking up on this feeling of, I'm going for something better at work, but I'm afraid of people finding out at work. You know, like maybe you're having to juggle around your schedule so that you can sit an interview or something somewhere, and it's happening during the week, so you have to go and they won't let you do it on another day. And, you know, you're worried that maybe work colleagues will clock on to what you're doing, will realize that that's what's going on. Could also just be a warning about not overspending over the holiday period. And then you've got this mysterious man. So you've got dark man, a man with dark complexion or hair, and then you've got the man card again here. So there's a very important man in your life at this time. But like I mentioned, it does feel like kind of a solitary month. In terms of how you're feeling and where your focus is. So if you're in a relationship, this could just be, you know, your partner, potentially, and that they're there for you, but you're maybe not leaning on their support as much this month because you feel like you have to go it alone, or you're so focused on what you're doing that you don't even think of the fact that they're waiting there for you. It could be a family member that you're looking forward to seeing, for example, because it's right next to the Father's House card, and sort of wedged in between that and the animals card. Could be a man who's able to help you in some way. But then also with this, you will rebirth the world, and then this lovely little snail shell card. It does feel to me like you are coming out of your comfort zone a little bit. It's like you're spreading your wings, you're ready for something new. You've been, I want to say, like holed up somewhere for quite a while. You've been in a situation where maybe you felt like you were drifting, or you weren't happy with your job or where you were living, for example, or you just weren't really feeling like you were where you want to be status-wise in life at this time, or in terms of your earning potential or your lifestyle. And, you know, this is saying, yes, for a lot of people, winter is a time when they pull back from this sort of thing and they start to go into that quiet gestation period where they don't make many changes. But for you, it feels like December at least is this time where you really push forward and you get that rebirth. And what's lovely is that you have these angelic helpers. And the High Priestess also points towards this in terms of a spiritual assistance that's coming to you. It might not feel like it's around you very physically. Again, you might feel physically like you're sort of on your own, but when you do tap into it, it is very clearly there. And you know, the animal's message could be to do with animal totems, spirit animals that are around you that you gradually become aware of. Could even be a bear element to that potentially, or a snail. Perhaps you do have a few like animal images throughout your reading. So that's really interesting. Let's move on to your charms, because I'm really curious to see what else we can find out about this. There's definitely a lot of facets to what's going on in December. It's not all just socializing and eating and drinking, and it's certainly not a month where you're slowing down or where you're starting to wrap up for the year. It's like you're just getting started. You're just getting into your momentum, but you do definitely have conflicting feelings around this. I'm wondering if some of you are actually feeling selfish for pushing forward and trying to do something for you, but I just don't feel like you are, group one. Like, I honestly get the feeling from the energy of this reading that you're someone who does so much for other people, or you've felt like you've just been sacrificing yourself for others in the past few months. You know, you feel like you're always doing stuff for other people, you never get any time to yourself, or you never seem to be getting that fulfillment that you're looking for, and now you're finally going to do something for you, and people had better support you, because if they don't, you know, you might reflect in a few months' time when you're out of this phase and realize, you know what, maybe I don't need these people around me anymore, and maybe I definitely won't be doing things for them in the future if they couldn't be there for me when I needed a bit of support. So let's see what insights your charms can give us. Okay, so we've got, the letter I. Wow, that is so important, because it's like, you know, I, myself, it's important that you do actually put yourself first. Like I said, I've really felt from this reading that you feel guilty for doing that, and that you're not, I mean, that in itself tells me that you're not the sort of person who routinely puts yourself first, or who only ever thinks about yourself. You know, this is a rare moment for you, but I do think it's important that you do this. Fearless. What a lovely message. It's important that you're fearless, because I feel like these feelings of guilt could potentially hold you back and slow your momentum. This feeling of like a heavy weight around your neck, this feeling of like, well, I'm doing it, but even though it's what I want, I'm not being able to enjoy it because people have made me feel bad about it, or people have made me question myself and my abilities. You've got the apple here, good health. Now this can be physical health. It could be that you're trying to be healthier, you're trying to exercise more, eat better, cut back on certain foods, but it's also about healthy mindsets and healthy relationships. It's not just health in the physical sense. So that's definitely something to think about, because we've also got the olive branch on the man card. Now that's interesting. I wonder if there's a man that you are forgiving in this month, or who is maybe hasn't been speaking to you for a while for whatever reason. Doesn't have to have been a falling out, but you could have just, you know, gone your separate ways, lived your lives, and December offers the opportunity to get to know each other again, or to reconcile in some way, have a chat, meet up, forgive each other. That's an interesting message. And here you've got two charms wrapped around each other. So you've got the angel feather landing on the angelic ones card. So very, very strong angelic energy surrounding you in December, and wrapped around it with a vampire's teeth. So I do feel as though there are some people in your life who are maybe not very nice, group one. There's a sort of toxic psychic vampire feeling that comes from that. Like, not just the charm coming out, but the image of it wrapping around the angel feather. It's like people are the more they realize that you're protected by something higher, the more they realize that and sense it on the energetic level subconsciously, the more they set out to attack you or they try and pull you down, because the more defensive they feel themselves. So this could be a family member, it could be people in your friendship circle, it could also be people at work. I just feel like there are people, I feel like it's more than one, in all honesty. I feel like there are a few people around you who are just not great. They're bringing you down, but you are strongly protected and you should be putting yourself first, and you shouldn't be afraid of the decisions that you're going to make. But I definitely think in December, be prepared for at least one person to be trying to bring you down, even if they don't consciously realize that's what they're doing. I feel like there's a jealousy, there's a defensiveness, there's an envy. You know, maybe you're more talented than them, maybe you're younger than them and you've got longer to, you know, build up your career or build up your lifestyle, get a better name for yourself. Maybe you just seem happier and more settled than they do. Maybe it's not one particular thing that they're latching onto, but it feels like there is at least one person that thinks on that subconscious level, I don't like this person because they reflect to me my own shortcomings. So I feel like people are going to be trying to make you feel bad about yourself, even if they don't realize, you know, consciously that that's what they're doing. I think that there could be comments, there could be attitude, there could be behaviors that just leave you feeling like, why would you behave like this if you could choose not to, you know? Because it doesn't resonate with you at all. But the stronger they get, the stronger the angelic protection around you gets, the more they try and attack you, the stronger they get pushed back. So it's a really, really interesting message there. Love that that came through for you as confirmation. So we're going to roll the 6th set of dice for you now, and those are the Voyager's dice. Okay, we're going to roll 8 of them for you. Okay. So what have we got here? Okay, lovely. So you've got this low fuel bar, which tells me that you're probably feeling a little bit low on energy, enthusiasm, maybe even to the point of feeling drained by these sort of psychic vampire types in your life at some point in December. And it's interesting how it's landing then on that card about, you know, this isn't what love is. So it could be, you know, a romantic situation, but I just feel like in general, it's just showing you, even if you don't define it as love necessarily, it's showing you who is and who isn't good for you. You know, the people that are enriching your life and the people that just seem to be causing stress or anxiety or taking away from what your life should be. We have the camera, nostalgia, making memories. It's nice that that's landed on Yule because, you know, that's sort of the holiday period. I think this could be pointing towards someone from your past as well. If this is a man that's resurfacing that you haven't seen for a while, you know, possibly making memories and being nostalgic about the past would make sense in that case. Then you've got the rain, so sadness or feeling like there's a cloud over you, feeling like you're maybe waiting for something bad to happen or just feeling a little bit down and low in energy. And the axe, defensiveness. Interesting. So yeah, I definitely feel like it's like a bit of a roller coaster in December. There's a lot of feelings and there's a lot of events where I feel like you're going to have to be quite delicate in what steps you take. You're going to have to really consider, how should I respond to this? What's the best way for me to phrase this? How do I write this email to convey the tone as well as the message correctly? You know, how do I plan my next steps so that I don't seem suspicious or so that I don't arouse anyone's anger or anyone's attention? You know, it's an interesting feeling of almost walking a bit of a tightrope in December, but I feel like ultimately the reward is really going to be worth it, because then we get into some more lovely dice. So you've got the treasure map. You will find what you seek. You will get to where you want to go. And I do sort of get the feeling that you maybe can't quite see the end result here yet. It feels like you are walking that tightrope without really seeing where it ends. So for those of you who do feel that way and are wondering, is it even worth it when I don't have this end result in mind? I would say yes, because I feel as though even if you've not got that map that's telling you where you're going, other people do, whether it's your higher self, whether it's a subconscious thing, whether it is in the hands of the angels or your spiritual team. It does exist. It is there. And I feel like you are strongly being guided to take the right steps in December. You have the magic beans, powerful growth. Also, again, think of how it takes you to like a completely different city, a completely different place, a completely different realm with Jack and the Beanstalk. It's not just growth, it's almost like teleporting in a way. So there's a real opportunity to level up coming through. You have the city of your dreams, really thinking about the future, really trying to build this ideal life or achieve this big goal for yourself. And then the treasure chest. So not just the treasure map, but also the treasure chest. Abundance, achieving your goals, finding what you seek, receiving rewards, receiving wonderful opportunities, money, especially, it could be very physical money. You might be getting a bonus at work. But I think it's more as well to do with like what you're actually working towards. Because when I get that treasure chest, I really see it as like a reward of some kind, or like I've finally found it, I've made it, I've gotten to where I've worked so hard to be. So let's just finish up your reading with a message from the Book of Answers. Group 1, I just feel like I want to pull you one of these messages. Okay, open. Patience will achieve more than force. And that's from Edmund Burke, Reflections on the Revolution in France. Interesting how that's about a revolution as well, because like I said, with the beanstalk, it takes you to a completely different place. We've got the city of your dreams, we've got this message of rebirth, the world as well. Really, really interesting. So I like that. Patience will be better than force, or however it was worded. So patience over force. So instead of trying to push something, because again, if you don't know where you're going, you might feel frustrated with the slow pace that things feel like they're taking. But if you're finding it tricky to balance things, if it already feels a bit delicate in terms of how you're planning your steps, then I think ultimately if it's going slowly, then that's better, isn't it? Because then you've got more time to think and you can pace things out. And if you are having to do things like book time off work, rearrange things in your diary, it's better if that's paced out over a wider period of time, because then it's going to be less of an event, it's going to be less suspicious if that's something that you are worried about. So group 1, that's what I'm seeing in your reading today. So I think really prioritize yourself over other people in this month. As much as I do see you having fun with family and friends and spending time with the people you care about, ultimately you need to put yourself and your own goals first. So if there is a conflict, that's what you should be thinking about, as difficult and as unnatural as that might feel to you. So I hope this was helpful for you. Please keep these messages in mind, because some of them might be especially helpful when you do feel in a bit of a dilemma, or if you feel a bit stuck at any point in December. Thank you so much for being here. Please do subscribe if you enjoyed this video, because it really helps out my channel. Have a lovely rest of your day. Take care. Have a wonderful December. And let me know if it resonated in the comments. I'd love to hear from you, and I'll see you again soon. Bye bye. Hey there, group 2. Welcome to your reading. If you chose Teresa, the little tree girl, then this is going to be your reading. I'm just going to move her so that we have space to lay the cards out. And I've also just turned on this little lamp as well, because I tend to film in the evenings now. I mean, it's not even evening at the moment, but it's just so dark that I have to turn this lamp on, because for some reason, even though it's very well lit in this room, this area with the desk just always seems to be really dark after a certain time. So let's get your cards out. Like I said, they've been pre-shuffled. We've got lots of lovely cards. Group 1's reading was really, really interesting. So let's see what they have to say. So your first card is number 20, Renewal. Review the past and the present so you can plan a bright new future. Understanding your life purpose. Releasing judgments of yourself and others. So that's the Judgment card. 8 of Autumn, 8 of Pentacles, do more research before proceeding, education in the form of seminars, going back to school or apprenticeships, excellent craftsmanship and long-term projects. Interesting. Then King of Autumn, or King of Pentacles, compassionate, accomplished, charismatic, gifted. Be assertive when it comes to what you know is right. Everything going your way, a good person or company to work for. So Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn showing up so far. Let's keep going. Reason, listen to advice, think clearly, intellect, number 15. Burnt by the Sun, number 28, ambition, extension, reach. Water, cleansing. Sacred Mountain, number 7, vision quest, clarity and truth. Shambhala, deep healing. It's a lovely card. Danksagung, number 4, saying thanks or giving thanks. Number 50, der Götze der Kontrolle, the idol of control. Then next we have Gole muligheder banker på, kast dig ulider. So this is good opportunities are knocking, throw yourself into it. That's a nice card to receive. Isabilia, abundance. Circles, number 34, clarity begins in the eye of the storm. That's interesting. That's very interesting. And then we've just got some little cards to round up this section of the reading. So Cane, pay attention to your health. Inkpot, problems to be resolved. Stork, news of a birth or a new business opportunity. Well, family wishes come true. That's really nice. And then alles ist in allem, nichts steht für sich allein und alles ist in Entwicklung. So this means everything is in everything, nothing stands for itself alone, and everything is in development. So there's definitely like picking up on a feeling of connectedness, because I get that from the Circles card and I get that from the Sacred Mountain card, and also from the Gratitude as well, like giving thanks. She looks like she's really in sync with everything that's around her, so that's interesting. So let's see, what am I getting from this reading in general? So a few things coming up as sort of bigger themes. I feel like there is some studying or something that you're working towards in December that you're putting quite a lot of effort into, because with the 8 of Pentacles, 8 of Autumn, that's like really hard work. That's like really knuckling down, getting something done, hard work. I mean, it could simply just mean that you're working a lot in December, but it feels more like there's a particular goal that you're working towards, because we've got a few cards about this. You know, we've got the King of Pentacles, we've got the Idol of Control, we've got ambition, you know, we've got problems to be solved. So I do feel as though you're working towards something. So I'm wondering if it's like a course that you're doing, or if you're studying at the moment, or if it's a particular skill that you're trying to learn, and maybe if you have time off work in December, that gives you the opportunity to practice it, or if you're home for the holidays and you've been away studying, that gives you the opportunity to put more effort and time into it. The renewal card is quite nice. Judgment suggests that as you're in December, you know, we're closing off the year, it's a normal time for a lot of people to do plenty of thinking, and it feels like you are in that mood with this card, with the reason message as well. With circles, you know, you are thinking about things. There's a lot of reflection. It feels like you're looking back at the year and thinking, okay, this has happened. I'm happy with that. I feel like that could have gone better. I wish that was different. How can I take this and move forward into the new year with more of a plan, or with an understanding of mistakes that were made and how I can, you know, make sure that nothing similar happens again. So you definitely seem to be in a reviewing mindset, and you're looking forward to the new year as an opportunity to start afresh. And I feel like you're definitely the sort of person that's going to be making resolutions, or maybe having like a new routine that you're going to stick to, or, you know, this with like hobbies and things, stuff that you want to try that you're already implementing, or things that you want to not try but take to the next level. Like you've already got to a certain level in a skill, for example, and you want to improve that over the next year and you're starting now. So that's a strong focus, is this sort of goal-oriented reviewal mindset. And definitely there's a feeling of, I want to do better, I want to stretch myself, I want to go further, which is interesting. The water cleansing message does also feel like now is a good opportunity for you to rest and relax. I know the holiday period can be quite stressful for some people, but I feel like for you, this is a good opportunity to maybe catch up on sleep with water, like stay hydrated, eat well, just rest a bit, because I feel like if you are going to push forward in the new year with these goals and all of these ideas that you've got in your head, then I think you will want to store up some energy now to use later. I think you'd really benefit from having that rest period. There's also this message of Cain, pay attention to your health. So I think that's an important message too. Like, if you don't consciously take time to rest now, you might end up burnt out later, or you might regret it in terms of not feeling well enough to do things. Pay attention to your health. It's also just a general message of don't overdo it. Take care of yourself, eat well, stay safe with regards to that. I guess with that and water, it could also point towards hygiene. Like that's a special focus for you right now. And then we have some other messages. So once we've moved on from that, I can see the Idol of Control. And the Idol of Control is this message of you literally trying to control something. So any idol card that we receive is a message where basically something is taking up too much of our time, or it's become an unhealthy obsession, or it's just sort of holding us back from moving forward because it's not the right mindset to be in, or it's something that we're focusing that we shouldn't be focusing on, and we'd be better off putting our energy elsewhere. So with that, it's saying, look, you've got all of these ideas. That's incredible. You're clearly very talented and skilled. There's lots that you can be working towards. It's wonderful that you want to do that. However, focusing on what you can control is fine, but trying to control things that you can't control is just going to leave you feeling frustrated. It's going to burn out your energy more quickly. It's going to, take away energy, like essentially divert your energy and attention from things that you could be focusing on that you can control. So that's something to think about in terms of, letting some things be and focusing on the things that you can control. Because I sort of get that from this Circles card as well. Clarity begins in the eye of the storm. It's like while all this stuff is going on around you, that's when you really work out actually what is within your control and what isn't. And also with circles, I think of cycles. I think of things that inevitably change and shift that we can't stop or slow down or have any influence over. So just an acceptance of that, I think, will really bring you a lot of peace and will help you to put energy where it's needed. But definitely I get a lot of thinking energy from December, like a lot of thinking, a lot of reviewing, a lot of planning, plotting, working out where your energy is best kept. And what is really good is that you've got a lot of things to look forward to. So yes, we've got the problems to be solved message, Inkpot, and that could be what some of the thinking that you're doing is about. But maybe this is part of the message of how to solve that, is understanding that some things you've just got to let happen and deal with whatever has happened after the fact. But actually you do have a lot of opportunities coming your way. So you've got abundance, which is lovely, Isabelia. Abundance coming your way, or abundance already in your life in December. Family wishes come true, and news of a birth or a new business opportunity. So that's really nice. So that is like a new beginning of sorts. It's a new idea maybe that you can work on that grows into something much bigger. It's a new opportunity being offered to you. For some of you, Stork and Well will mean a pregnancy or a birth announcement. So some of you, that might be what you're focusing on in terms of wanting to grow your family or start a family, sort of move to that step in your life. Again, that could be what Cycles is talking about, different life cycles. So that could literally just be what the message is for some of you, the very obvious message. But I think for a lot of you, it is to do with business opportunities or business ideas or new career possibilities, new skills that you want to build on and work towards. And you have this card, Gola Muligheder Banker. So good opportunities are knocking. Kastai ulidil. So throw yourself into it. Really let yourself be like ready for it and get into it. Yeah, definitely a lot coming your way. And obviously, if we think of the Judgment card, it's often like a crossroads feeling where you have come to the end of the line in a particular path, maybe in a relationship or in a particular career path, or in terms of how much you can learn from something. And so it's time to then change track and move on to something new. It can be big life decisions that come with that card. So it's no wonder that you're doing so much thinking and, trying to work out what you can do and what the best options are. And then you have these more spiritual cards. So Sacred Mountain, Vision Quest, Clarity and Truth, Shambhala, Deep Healing. That is a card that's strongly connected to the Ascended Masters, because Shambhala is one of their sort of spiritual retreats where they are said to live, is Shambhala. And also this card, Alles ist in allem. Everything is in everything. Nothing stands for itself alone, and everything is in development. So even if you feel like things aren't moving forward, I think you'll quickly notice that actually they are. And when you tap into the spiritual elements of things, so when you meditate, when you pray, when you talk to your spirit guides, when you ask Ascended Masters especially for help, because that seems to be particularly who's around you at this time. But, anyone else, ancestors, spirit animals, spirit guides, angels, patron deities, your higher self, when you ask them for help, you will notice, oh, actually, the picture is much bigger, and I am certainly not alone. So that's an interesting introduction to your reading with the cards. Let's move on to your charms. We'll see what they can tell us. I'm really curious to see what insights they can give us on this, because it's quite an interesting message. Group 1's reading was more about like quite a few different things that was going on for them, whereas it's more like a few facets to one overall picture, if that makes sense. Okay. So you've got the rose quartz ball, so love and relationships. That's interesting because I haven't really seen that reflected in your reading so far. I haven't seen any message about other people particularly. It's been mainly you focusing on your own things, and the focus has been upon your goals, what you want to achieve, etc. So, for some of you that will be like family and love related, as we talked about, maybe starting or growing a family. But I think that ball is just there also to let us know that those people are there. You will still be having fun and meeting up with people in December as we would expect. It's just maybe not the most important message that needs to come through in this reading, or it's maybe just not what's taking up the majority of your focus in December. It's not what feels the most significant thing. So you have Libra showing up here. Libra, interesting because Libra is so very focused on relationships. Yeah, I wonder if that's part of that message as well as the zodiac sign. Hand of Fatima, protection from a higher source. You are protected. You are being watched over. You have got the star, the little starfish here, healing, optimism, growth, especially regaining whatever you feel has maybe been lost or that you haven't been able to focus on. I think that's where we come back to the rest message and the messages about caring for your health. You've got the little Alice in Wonderland charm here, which I always think of as being like risk-taking and gambling. Not necessarily gambling in terms of like gambling with money, like on a game or anything. It's just more about, do I take this risk? Do I put myself out there? Do I go for it? Is it going to work out? I think that's something that you're really weighing up in this month. Like I said, you're in that really review mindset. Libra as well, don't forget, is the scales. So it's all to do with weighing things up, trying to come to a balanced decision and a fair viewpoint. You've got the basket, so shopping, probably taking place a lot in December. But also I do have another meaning for that charm, which is more abstract, which is like shopping for new things to bring into your life. So not necessarily material things, but it's when you're just wanting some fresh energy in your life. You feel like things are, maybe they've got a bit samey, they feel quite stagnant, or you just want something a little bit different. So when we get that charm, I do often think of looking to bring in maybe some new hobbies, or to shake up your routine, or to go traveling, or to maybe even change your career a bit, or to shuffle your friendship group a little bit and find people that are more aligned to you. It's just when you're in that mindset of like, I'm open to new things now, I'm looking for something new, I feel like there's space for it in my life, I'm ready to sort of let that come in. And then your final charm is the Russian doll. So connections to Russia, or anyone who speaks Russian, Russian-speaking countries, Russian-speaking family and friends, companies, etc. Could be something in particular, like for example, there might be, I don't know, say there's a company called Troika or something that you've been considering working for, and that's then sort of your message for it. Or maybe it's something like your, I don't know, trying to think of an example, working out a situation with someone called Victor, you know, just sort of connections with Russian language, etymology, Russian-speaking countries and connections to that, Russian ethnicity, family history, etc. There is also another abstract meaning of that charm, for those who don't resonate with the Russian message, and that is about, you know, when we think of the Russian doll, there's lots of different dolls inside the main doll. So it's like, normally I think about bottling up how you're feeling, and like you're keeping things under wraps. You're maybe trying to paint on a pretty happy smiley face when actually deep inside you're feeling quite sad. That's not the message I really pick up from this today, actually, and I've never actually received this message from that charm in particular, but what I just heard was like a surprise. In my mind, I was sort of seeing the Russian dolls popping open and then popping back together again, and my brain said surprise, like Kinder Surprise, you know, the German chocolate eggs, and you get a little toy, a little surprise inside. So it's like you've got something up your sleeve, you've got a surprise, you've got something hidden within you in December that's surprising. So maybe you've got these plans that you've not told anyone about, and it's not because you're trying to keep them hush hush because you're afraid of people influencing it negatively, or people trying to talk you out of it. It's just that you've been working on it quietly by yourself, and so when you do decide to share it with people, maybe over the holiday period, it seems like a big surprise to them that you've got to share. Yeah, that's an interesting message. So let's move on to your dice now. Okay, so we've got the third set of dice for you, group 2, sorry. Those are the mystery dice. And we're rolling 8 of them for you. Group 1 got 8 as well. Okay, so what have we got? Yeah, definitely. Okay, so you've got the pawn, so like the chess piece. Again, I do feel like this sort of plotting and planning vibe from you, like you're really reviewing things, you're trying to consider what your next steps are going to be, deciding what you want to focus on. So there is that strategic feeling from you in December. There's also these, so there's a mysterious guy here, which again, I know I think of like the surprise, the mystery, you know, you've not revealed something, you've got it up your sleeve sort of thing. Look at how his sleeve is covering his face. And then the siren and the person who is shouting something, wanting everyone to know, with the sandwich board there, is a message of like either you telling people and people being surprised, or it's this message of something comes to you in December that's a message that you need to hear, that's like an alert or a warning, or it just happens suddenly and you don't have much time to think about it, or you've got to respond to it quickly. So watch out for some surprises yourself in December as well. Yeah, I'm not I feel like for some of you, it's like an intuitive gut feeling where previously you were thinking, yeah, this seems fine. And then suddenly you're like, no, I don't want to do this anymore. I want to focus on something else. And it comes as a surprise because you've been putting a lot of energy into it. But I think you should follow that feeling. And for some of you, it's more just like sudden changes to plans, sudden new information, sudden opportunities, things coming out of the blue. Like we've mentioned, these opportunities coming your way. And you might not have a lot of time to consider what you want to do. So just be aware of that. Think on your feet. What else do we have? So we've got the person who is really looking at something, really analyzing a situation really deeply, really trying to see closely into the situation. We've got the DNA, family situations. I do think that you're obviously going to be spending time with family members in December. That could simply be what that's about, or it could be about family members helping you or being important at this time. You've got this also like a double self here. So there's like maybe your higher self acting on your behalf, or there's some strong guidance coming through from your higher self. Could also be about past life issues coming through. That could also work with the DNA message too. Interesting thing there. And it's landing on the idol of control. So I'm wondering if there are some things that are coming through as like a knee-jerk reaction for you in December because of past life experiences, or because of even like higher self-guidance, and you're not sure why you're feeling that way or why you're making those snap decisions, but you're just going with it because, it's coming from somewhere. And then on the problems to be solved card, we've got the person who's frightened of the future, someone who doesn't want to deal with something, doesn't want to face up to something. So I definitely feel like there is an element of, wow, this is a lot of work, or, I don't want to have to think about that now. I'd rather just have some rest. Or it's like as much as you seem to be spending a lot of time reviewing things and enjoying doing that and taking control of the situation, there's still an aspect of you that feels like very occasionally, whoa, this is a big thing. It's like it just catches you every so often, like, whoa, this is life-changing. This is a huge decision I'm about to make. Or, whoa, like I'm thinking so far into the future, this is going to be so much work. And then you ground yourself and you bring yourself down to just what needs to be done that day or that week or that month or in the near future, and get back on track. But I just think every so often it catches you just how important these decisions are, or how much you're taking control of your life, in terms of like your long-term future. So really interesting messages for you in December. You definitely seem very focused. You seem very on it. Let's just finish up with a message from the Book of Answers. Actually, I got one for group 1, so it's fair to get one for you too. Group 2, what message do we have in December? Say what it is you want, from Icarus, Prometheus Bound. Interesting. Say what it is you want. Yeah. And I get that because I see you thinking about different possibilities. You're weighing them up. You're trying to decide what's right for you. And I think in some ways you're thinking of so many different things that you're almost struggling to focus on what needs to be done now. And I definitely think that you will overcome that and you will get things done. But yeah, I think say what it is you want. Be focused on what it is that you want. And if you do feel these like moments that knock you off your perch a little bit or make you question yourself, ask yourself where that's coming from, and if there's anything that could be tweaked or changed or altered that would remove that fear while allowing you to stay on that path. Because I think it's just important that you're very, very clear with what you want, so that you don't have these feelings of doubt or feelings of, doubting your own abilities that might come at a more crucial moment further down the line. Hope that makes sense, group 2. So that's what I'm seeing in your reading. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope it's been helpful. Thank you so much for being here and watching and supporting my channel. Please do consider subscribing if you haven't already. That really helps me out. Have a lovely rest of your day and take care. And of course, have a wonderful December. And I will see you again soon. Bye bye.